The entire restaurant erupted in laughter the moment she walked toward the table. Every head slowly turned in their direction, and Adam immediately understood why. His friends had secretly changed his blind date without telling him. Instead of the woman they had described for weeks, a heavy-set woman stood there with nervous eyes, holding her purse tightly against her chest as if expecting another rejection. Adam's friends sat at the table behind them, whispering and trying not to laugh. They thought they had created the funniest prank of the year. They expected Adam to stand up, complain, or walk away in embarrassment. They had no idea that before the night ended, every single one of them would wish they had never planned this cruel joke. Before we continue, if you believe kindness is more powerful than appearances, and everyone deserves a second chance, please take a moment to like this video, leave a comment, share it with someone you care about, and subscribe to the channel for more emotional stories that restore faith in humanity. For years, Adam had been the quiet one in his group. While his friends chased popularity, expensive cars, and social status, he cared more about treating people with respect. They often joked that he was too soft for today's world. According to them, kindness only made people take advantage of you. Adam usually ignored their comments because arguing never changed anyone's mind. A few weeks earlier, they had insisted it was finally time for Adam to start dating again after spending nearly 2 years focused entirely on work. They promised they had found the perfect woman and refused to tell him anything except that she was beautiful, intelligent, and exactly his type. Looking back, he realized every smile and every excited promise had been part of their plan. As the woman reached the table, she looked even more uncomfortable than Adam felt. Her face carried the exhaustion of someone who had spent months fighting battles nobody else could see. Before he could say a word, she quietly apologized. She explained that she had only accepted the invitation because a mutual acquaintance had convinced her someone genuinely wanted to meet her. She admitted she almost stayed home because most people disappeared the moment they judged her for her size. The laughter behind them grew louder. Adam glanced toward his friends. They were recording everything on their phones, waiting for the humiliating moment they could post online. Instead of leaving, Adam stood up, smiled warmly, and pulled out a chair for her. The restaurant suddenly became much quieter. For the first time that evening, she smiled. It was a small smile, cautious and uncertain, but it carried more gratitude than words ever could. As dinner began, Adam learned that her name was Megan. She had once dreamed of becoming an architect and had spent years building a successful career. Everything changed when her fiancé died in a tragic car accident only 3 months before their wedding. In the months that followed, grief consumed her, and she found herself turning to food for comfort, watching her weight climb as her world fell apart. Overnight, the future she had carefully planned disappeared. The people who once called themselves friends slowly vanished. Some avoided her because they didn't know what to say. Others judged her without ever asking what had happened. Even members of her own extended family quietly suggested she fix herself before showing her face in public again, hinting that her appearance would ruin any chance at a normal life. She chose to keep moving forward instead, refusing to let their judgment define her. Every sentence she spoke carried incredible strength hidden beneath deep pain. She never asked for sympathy. She simply kept moving forward because she still believed she deserved a second chance at life. As she talked, Adam forgot completely about the people sitting behind them. Then something unexpected happened. One by one, other diners began smiling at their table. An elderly waitress quietly brought Megan a complimentary dessert and whispered that she hoped everything would be okay. A young couple nearby paid for their drinks without introducing themselves. Kindness has a strange way of spreading once someone chooses compassion instead of cruelty. Meanwhile, Adam's friends grew increasingly uncomfortable. Their prank wasn't working. Instead of becoming the joke, Megan had become the most respected person in the room. Halfway through dinner, one of Adam's friends finally walked over with his phone still recording. He loudly asked whether Adam was planning to roll his way through the relationship. The restaurant fell completely silent. Adam looked directly at him and calmly answered that choosing to love someone for who she truly is would never be as embarrassing as becoming an adult who enjoys humiliating innocent people for entertainment. No one laughed, not even his closest friends. He slowly lowered his phone. The manager, who had witnessed everything from the beginning, approached their table. Instead of asking them to leave, he politely requested that Adam's friends stop disturbing other guests. When they argued, the manager explained that their behavior violated the restaurant's standards of respect and asked them to leave immediately. For the first time that night, they experienced the embarrassment they had planned for someone else. As they walked out under the eyes of every customer, nobody defended them. Megan quietly wiped away a tear. She admitted that she had prepared herself for another painful evening because life had taught her to expect rejection. She never imagined a stranger would choose dignity over public approval. The The rest of the evening passed peacefully. They talked about dreams, family, childhood memories, and the future. They laughed more than either of them expected. Somewhere between dinner and dessert, two lonely people realized they weren't nearly as broken as the world had convinced them they were. When the restaurant closed, Adam walked Megan to her car. Before leaving, she thanked him for reminding her that good people still existed. The truth was that she had reminded him of something even more important. Real strength isn't measured by wealth, appearance, or popularity. It's measured by how gently you treat someone who has every reason to stop believing in humanity. Over the next several months, they stayed in touch. Adam encouraged Megan as she slowly rebuilt her confidence and rediscovered her passion for architecture. He stood beside her at every appointment when she began her personal journey toward better health, never once making her feel rushed or judged. They worked side by side on her old blueprints, breathing new life into dreams she thought she had lost forever. On the day Megan proudly reopened her own small architecture firm, Adam stood outside the building with flowers in his hands and tears in his eyes. Not because he had planned any of it, but because sometimes life writes better stories than we ever could. The friends who organized the prank eventually reached out to apologize. They admitted that watching the entire restaurant reject their behavior forced them to confront the kind of people they had become. Some friendships quietly ended. Others slowly healed after genuine remorse replaced pride. Megan never forgot that first dinner. Neither did Adam. Years later, people still ask how they met. They expect some romantic fairy tale. Instead, they tell them the truth. Their story began with cruelty, but it survived because kindness refused to surrender. If the story touched your heart, please write the word kindness in the comments below. We'd love to know how many people still believe compassion can change someone's life forever. And if this story reminded you that every person deserves respect regardless of their circumstances, please like this video, share it with someone who needs hope today, and subscribe for more emotional stories that prove one act of kindness can change an entire lifetime. Sometimes the greatest revenge against cruelty isn't anger or humiliation. It's choosing compassion so powerful that it transforms everyone who witnesses it. And on that unforgettable night, the cruel joke that was meant to break two strangers instead became the beginning of a life built on kindness, courage, and unconditional love.